How did I get into coaching? That's an interesting question. I created this college club called A Clear Vision. And what A Clear Vision did was it sort of worked with students to make them or help them to become self-sufficient, start their own business, generate income to pay for school. Wow, you have these really intelligent, smart kids who have the ability to finish and be successful academically, but because of financial constraints, they weren't able to finish. And so, I felt like I was summoned almost. It was a very, very, rewarding experience. It was the first time that I actually felt like I was, making a difference for someone, for other people. And it was also the first time that I felt like I was, being a mentor. The first time that I realized that I was a coach was when I became the basketball coach of my son's third grade basketball team. There was a shortage of parents volunteering, and my son was on the team, and he comes home saying, Dad, they're about to dismantle the team because they don't have any coaches, and volunteered to be a coach. And I didn't know anything really about the rules of basketball, and a group of third graders, they didn't know much about basketball either. Although I didn't know anything about coaching, one thing that I think I always realized about myself was that I have the ability to identify what works, what doesn't. What are the weaknesses and the strengths of people. And it was very interesting because, there was one child on the team who, he didn't have the strength to shoot the basketball to the hoop, but he was really fast. This kid was running all over the place, but he just couldn't. He would do all these moves and couldn't shoot to the hoop. How am I gonna, build him up and make him stronger? So I went and I got this medicine ball from the store and had him practice during the week. I had two of them. One was like a 4-pound and an 8-pound basketball to develop his strength to shoot to the basket. And you would never believe it. After about a month, he began to shoot within his zone, almost in anywhere around the court. He was able to shoot that ball and get it in. And I can't begin to tell you what it's like to see a child who couldn't shoot a basket, and all of a sudden that ball goes in and his face lights up like a Christmas tree, and I'm like, oh my God, But there was another kid who he can only shoot from a certain distance. And I realized that he had the desire to shoot at 3-point range. But whenever he shot within this particular zone, it was gold. Like, it was going in guaranteed. And I said to him, dude, wherever you get the ball in your hand, like you are the center position player, play in this zone. And wherever you shoot, whenever you get that ball in your hand, shoot it. And he developed a very interesting way of playing, because initially he thought, well, no one ever passes me the ball, and he didn't make the connection that he was always outside of the range that he can effectively and efficiently shoot. And that if he were to operate within his master area, the teammates would trust him, they would pass him the ball, and they would work with him to make plays. And he was always within this area where he can not only get the ball, make his own plays, receive the passes, and shoot. And it was just tremendous to see where, just like adults, where people could get clear about where is their masterful zone, where do they operate best, and operate in that zone. Not excluding them from going on the outside, but just knowing what their strengths are and what their weaknesses are, and focusing on their strengths. And I think that is so key for anyone, personal or entrepreneur, just knowing where your strengths are and mastering them, developing your strengths, acknowledging your weaknesses, but focusing on your strengths. Another kid that was on the team, he had this really explosive temperament, like whenever someone made a mistake, whenever he made a mistake, he would like beat himself up. Oh my God, I can't believe this. And I said to myself, There's two ways to look at this. He could be a force or he can be a distraction. And so I made a pinky swear promise with him that if he elected to become team captain, that if he was able to channel his energy on winning and leading his team calmly, that he would lead the team, that he would be the leader and I would consult with him, the leader of the team, before we made any decisions. And it was the most amazing experience ever because it was like a leader in him being cultivated, and he assumed his role. He sat up, he called his teammates together, and he really got them to come together, dictated plays. I mean, amazing. And so for me, this was like the first time that I realized how powerful coaching is. Because even with 8-year-old children, you know, if you're able to identify the strengths and the weaknesses in people and be able to strengthen and support, provide a system of them becoming stronger and strengthening them, that they can see for themselves how powerful they are, and you just take over and become masters of their own destiny, of their own life, which is what coaching does. And, you know, going back to a group of third graders, they won almost every game. They only lost like one game the entire season. So, you know, to take children who don't know anything about basketball and have them, you know, exude this tremendous confidence in themselves was priceless. And it changed my life, you know, forever. And I think that was the first time that I said, man, I really, really feel fulfilled just seeing people become their best. Like it just, you know, how would I say, you know, it serves as almost like a recurring theme in my life. Like when I look at the different parts of my journey, I can see where I was the most happiest was where I was able to see people be their best, support people to, you know, become this masterful self. And so for me, that's I think the joy of coaching. That's the beauty of coaching.